Welcome to Unboxed Daily. I'm your host, Jason. And you know, you've been paying attention to places like your subscription box on YouTube or any of the major tech publications or Twitter, or really you haven't been living under a rock, then you know that Apple finally released all the specific details about its new improvements to the iPhone X line in the iPhone XS, XS Max, and the iPhone XR. I know, I was shocked too. I thought that they just leave it at the 10 and move straight back to the 9 before proceeding to the 11. But here we are. Now, normally, this is the part of our videos where I would just run through the basic specs of the phone to give you a sense of what the cost versus benefit might be for you. You know, storage, camera, resolution, etc. But let's be honest. Lots of you guys watched the presentation. Even more of you have probably read articles or seen one of the 50 or so videos out there that kind of talk about the same specs. So let's just jump into the stuff that we find interesting. What do you say? Let's get to it. First, one thing that's not terribly sexy, but certainly important. You get 2 extra antenna bands on the new XS, one on the top and one on the bottom, which allows for not only better connectivity, but LTE speeds as much as 2.5 times faster. Next, Face ID is noticeably faster on the new XS phones. It's not going to be as fast as some of the Android phones out there, but to be fair, it's a lot more secure. Still, faster is good. After all, you wouldn't want to end up in this situation.
Unlocking it is as easy as looking at it and swiping up. And, you know, let's try that again. Ho, ho, ho.
The new iPhone XS and XS Max are rocking an IP68 rating, which means you can take them down as far as 2 meters in a pool for as long as half an hour, and technically, they should be okay if they're not damaged. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that. I think that's a fairly foolish idea. But if you happen to get it caught in the rain or you get splashed water on it or something like that, they're probably going to be fine. Now let's dive into the new camera, shall we? Now on the main camera, Apple has designed and implemented a brand new 26mm lens. Combined with the sensor that's now 32% larger, you're not only going to see better clarity in day-to-day photos and in HDR, but you're really going to see the new camera shine in low light and nighttime situations. Unfortunately, the camera bump has shifted from the 10 to the XS, so you won't be able to use the same case you had for the 10, but let's be honest, it's a new iPhone, you're gonna buy a new case. It's okay, we understand. Also worth noting, a new and improved portrait mode. You now have the ability to adjust the amount of blur in your portrait photos, as well as have a more true-to-life blur based on the angle of the image. In other words, it isn't just the same blur across the image, it's actually relative to the specific picture you took. It's also worth noting that the XS has a greater dynamic range in HDR photos. That means that colors in HDR will seem much richer and will have much greater contrast. And hey, the XS Max, it's just bigger. There's really nothing differentiating it from the XS in any sort of material hardware way. It's just larger. All right, now that we've talked about all the cool stuff that we're really excited about, it's important that we help you figure out which videos you should watch if you're interested in buying one or you just really want to know more and you don't want to sift through all the different videos that are out there. Well, don't worry, we've got you covered. Here are a few we think are worth checking out. First, if you want to see what the gold XS looks like, check out this video from iJustine. For a full review and a teardown of all the important specs that you're going to care about, Marquez Brownlee has your hookup. If you want to answer the question whether or not to upgrade from the iPhone X, Super Saf, he's got your answer. And if you're curious how good the video is on the XS, Jonathan Morrison has some beautiful footage you're going to want to watch. And that's it for this quick look at the iPhone XS. If you want to see other phones we're talking about, maybe comparing the iPhone XS against Android phones alike, well, be sure to head over to the phones category as well. In the meantime, I'll see you back here soon. I'm your host, Jason. Have a great day.